Okay, hello everyone. So let's probably go briefly over the agenda that we have for today. It's very simple. Um, we have received two MRs, PRs, and yeah, I just want kind of to go over that quickly and what happened in those PRs, I guess, and then set up Firebase, Google Auth, and generally like set up Firebase and like try to do as much as we can with it. So, um, and yeah, at the end we'll have just Raffle item. So a few things. So I have no clue how to set up like Google Auth. I haven't worked with it yet. I worked with like just ordinary authentication methods, so like username and password. But yeah, I haven't done any Google Auth with Firebase specifically. So I was just looking at different articles. So it will be like a research kind of session, like group research, I guess, and we'll try to go as far as we can. But here we have I found this article like Google Sign In and Firebase Authentication using Flutter. So hopefully it will help. I kind of looked over it, and it's probably something that we want. Yeah, hopefully it's good enough. Also, I saw there is like this Firebase documentation, so like authentication section, and there is Flutter section, and then there are like so many different things. But I'm like a little bit confused as and yeah, I don't really understand what is what. It kind of seems like they just use usual, yeah, like email and password authentication method. But then here there is this federated identity and social section, and then there is this Google. So, so I yeah, using Google sign in with Firebase. So I guess this is what we might refer to as well. Yeah, since we are using web, we should look at this. Yeah, but this is something else that I found. Not entirely sure how helpful it will be, but we'll see. Then yeah, here's just our Firebase project that we set up like during the first session, and this is just a nice resource, I guess, that I want to share. So it's a package that's called Model Progress HUD. And what it is essentially, it's like a spinner. So whenever we load something, like for instance, when you click login button, right, there will be like a short, like 1 second delay or something when we send the request, authenticate, and all that stuff. Um, and we don't want the user just to stare at a blank screen. Like usually, like for a good user experience, we want to make sure that like user receives some feedback and they want to see that something is going on. And usually we would put just a spinner. So it's like, whenever, I don't know, I think like everyone saw that, like at least one example of this loading circle. And this is just a package for Flutter specifically that we hopefully will use to, again, to add this spinner when we are logging in. Okay, so for the duration of login, but it's like the last step. So yeah, and we can just like take over it afterwards. If someone wants like to research that on their own and then, I don't know, try to come up with an example and potentially again open an APR or something with this spinner, it's also it will be great. So yeah, just as an idea. But again, the focus of the session is just to make sure that we will start setting up the login. Again, I'm not sure how long it will take. Either we definitely will start, but I'm not entirely sure if we will be able to finish, right? Because there might be some issues and like general, um, I guess, as we go, we might uncover some potential features that we need to implement and stuff like that. So yeah, so it might take longer like to implement the login. But okay, as I said, firstly, let's just review the merged MRs. So there were PRs, sorry. uh, generally, just for your context, probably the reason why I say MRs right now is so as you can see, like PRs is called pull request, and I think it's GitHub terminology, right? But there is another service like similar to GitHub that's called GitLab, and they call PRs MRs. And I was working with the GitLab a lot, and I was saying MRs all the time, and that's probably why I said that right now. But anyways, so there were two PRs. So the first one was to change this screen. So the person like changed this screen from what we had initially as a login to this. So we have this login with Google button, and then we have apply for membership as well. So, and the second PR was this membership application form. Um, so it's essentially just a student number and a refer number, refer student number, right? Again, probably in the future we'll change it to refer student ID or something like this. So we will have our own internal identifier instead of a student number, just because again, student number is kind of sensitive data. So, and you probably don't want to share it with other people. But yeah, this is essentially like what we have so far. And I see there's also this logout button, but it doesn't really work for now. So yeah, that's kind of it. There were a few issues with the PRs, with the PRs, but I just fixed those. They weren't like a big deal. Mostly just don't forget to commit your files, because sometimes like when you create a new file, you need to make sure that you add it to staging, right? And you kind of make sure that you can commit it, that they get committed, right? So what happened is that so this image was not committed, and that's why like it was broken when I ran the code. So yeah, just make sure that again, like in Android Studio, the files that are ignored are yellow, right? So you need to make sure that if you want to commit a file, you go like and click here, like where's the like git, and then you need to add it to the staging essentially. Yeah, but we don't want to commit those files because they're kind of sensitive. So, yep. Okay, so the first part is done, I guess. And again, just a reminder, if you want to work on a feature, you're more than welcome to. If you go to our Discord channel, I put like a link for the project where you can see the tickets. Just again, message me privately in Discord, and I will assign the ticket to you. So yeah, we kind of have this screen implemented. So yeah, we work on this section. We ignore the first two. So yeah, this screen is implemented, and this screen is kind of implemented as well. So yeah, we just want to make again, one of the tickets is just to design this screen. So again, just with the dummy data, you don't need to have anything like stored in the Firebase and stuff like that. It's just again mostly design work, and the same thing for the store. We started working on the store ticket last session. That was like 2 weeks ago. So you can go to GitHub and like work on the branch that already exists, right? If you want to continue working on the store. So yeah, cool. I guess that's mostly it for the introduction, and yeah, I suggest we move on to this. So, how many of you know what OAuth is? So, sorry, I misspelled it. That's one. Just so from my context, so I need. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, it's kind of essentially like logging in with the help of Google. So, like in our case, you see there's login with Google, and it can be Facebook, it can be any other service, right? Um, and as you can see, like when we go here and we go to authentication, um, okay, where are we? You can see that Firebase gives us a lot of options, right? So we can set up auth with Google, Game Center, Microsoft, Twitter, GitHub, and stuff like that. So essentially, like there are two ways of authentication. The traditional one is kind of just username and password, right? And it's and essentially your system is responsible for tracking all of this, login data, right? But if you set up OAuth, I actually don't remember what it stands for, but let me see. Is Okay, it's short for Open Authorization, and essentially it's a way. So with Auth, you kind of delegate the task of authentication to a third party. Okay, so essentially your system doesn't keep track of all of the like authentication details. So again, we don't need to store passwords, we don't need to store usernames and stuff like that. We just again delegate that work to a third party service. In our case, it will be Google, right? So yeah, mostly again, probably you used like again, you definitely I saw again either log in with Facebook or like on Instagram, I think, right? You can log in with Facebook, and again like maybe two other again apps. Mostly it's Google OAuth and stuff like that. So yeah, I think you used it. Most of you used it. Maybe you just don't know how it works. But yeah, if I again just Google it. And open a Wikipedia page. So again, open authorization is an open standard for access delegation, commonly used as a way for internet users to grant websites or applications access to their information on other websites, but without giving them the passwords. So yeah, essentially, again, you kind of, in simple words, you delegate the task of authentication to a third-party service. So yeah, instead of again keeping just username and password in your system. Is that clear? Or yeah, if you have any questions, just again drop them in the chat and I will answer them. Cool. So with Firebase, let's go. So as you probably know, we set up again our Firebase project in the previous sessions, and again you can go and there is under build, there is authentication tab, and then yes, if you click set up sign in method, you will be redirected to this page. And let's just again, as I said during the beginning, as an introduction to the session, I haven't set up any auth with Firebase yet, so it will be like learning for me as well, I guess. So it's mostly it will be like uh, a research session for all of us, I guess. So I'll appreciate your help if I get stuck, or again, any comments of yours. But yeah, here's the article that I found. I will drop the link in the chat that I will follow. And yeah, we'll see how helpful it is. Sorry, I just need to take a sip of water. Um, okay, so great. So as you can see, like the project, also exactly what we want, I guess. There is the screen sign in with Google, and there is sign out button as well. And yeah, that's essentially what we want as well. So as you can see, like getting started. So we'll start by creating a new Flutter project. So essentially, they just like do it from scratch, like completely. So they create a Flutter project and then they set up the Firebase project as well. But we don't need to do that because we did it previously. A migration command. Okay, I'm just quickly. Okay. So plugins. The plugins needed for this project are Firebase Core for initializing Firebase, Firebase Auth for implementing Firebase authentication, and Google Sign In to use Google Sign In. You will need to include the Firebase Core plugin for using any other Firebase related plugins, as it is used for initializing the Firebase app. You can import the packages to your Flutter project by adding them to your PubSpec YAML file. So I will just copy this. And you can see it's pubspec YAML. So this is again the file where you put all your all the link, all the paths to your images, all your fonts that you want to load, like all the packages that you want to use as well. So, and if I go here, let's actually, before we move on, we should create a new branch. So it's again git checkout dash b. And what it will do, it will create a new branch and go to it right away. And we want to call it set up Google Auth. And you can see now I'm on the setup Google Auth branch. And here I will do all of my work, okay? And yeah, and previously, actually, just before this session, I pulled all the work. So again, before you create a new branch, you need to make sure that you pull, so again, sorry, if I go to main, again, before you create any branch, you need to make sure that you pull all the work first, so you can see everything is up to date. And after that, you can like create a new branch, okay? Um, cool. If, as you can see, I just also, there is an alternative. So instead of using this like big command, you can use GCO, and I believe it is an alias that you need to set up. So if you want like to set it up for your terminal, I just suggest again you probably like Google set up GCO alias for, so it essentially it replaces this, okay? And it's like a little bit shorter. And what this is, GCO dash, it means go to the previous branch you were on, right? And since I was on this branch before, I switched to main. And then when I run this command, it goes back to the branch I was on initially, right? So cool. Okay. Sorry, just to confirm, is the size of the like of the characters and all that stuff, can you see everything, or it's like too small? I will assume everything's fine. um, okay. Cool. We can zoom in a little bit, I guess. Video. Essentially, is just to walk you through a little bit. Like again, you can read all of these comments. They like again explain a bunch of stuff. But one of the things, I guess, here, for instance, right? This is what was done for the login button, right? As you saw on that in here, we have an image, right? It's Google logo, and we have assets, right? So we needed to load assets, and you can see that my image is under images / Google logo, and that we just needed to add this line as well, like to make sure that the image is loaded on the app, right? So it's essentially kind of point to that image, right? And as you can see, like Flutter, when we generated the project, Flutter already like gave us a bunch of comments, right, with the explanations of what to do. So to add assets to your application, add an assets section like this. So yeah, and the same thing like kind of applies to the fonts and stuff like that. So yeah, just again for the future development, if you want to work on the tickets, you're welcome to do that. So okay, let me go back because I already forgot what was there. So okay, in pubspec YAML, under dependencies, we need to go there and put our stuff. I guess so. Dependencies are here, and we have Flutter, right? Just make sure that you put under the actual dependencies, right? Not under dev dependencies, just to make it clear. So the difference between those. So dev dependencies is something that you use solely for development, right? So for instance, like if you need a unit test package or something like this, right? You don't need this code to run in production, right? So you don't put like packages that you don't need in production under dependencies. you put them under dev dependencies. Okay, so this way you kind of don't clutter the production code, and yeah, it just kind of makes it cleaner, I guess. So yeah. And if I go here, you actually can see that we have Firebase core already there, and we have Firebase auth, and then Google sign in. I think the versions are very old, but okay, we'll try and see how it goes. So after that, let me close that because it's, okay, so save it and run flutter packages get. So I go here to the terminal, I run this. Okay, the first step failed. So, okay, because Firebase auth depends on Firebase core. Yeah, it just mostly, I think it just the the versions of the packages. So let me just take a look at how. So we want to install Firebase auth to Flutter. So we probably need to run a. So there is how I'm not entirely sure if you know what a package manager is. So, but like if you worked with JavaScript or like Node.js or stuff like that, you probably know there is like NPM. So it stands for Node Package Manager, and essentially like what package managers do, they are responsible for importing all of the packages and adding all the packages to your code, right, to your code base. So instead of doing like that stuff manually, like we just copied and pasted according to the tutorial, we probably like want to get the latest version, right? And again, we received all of these errors because of the version incompatibility, I guess. So what we should do, there is a like Flutter has its own package manager. So and kind of to import packages and to add them to your project without again just manually modifying pub spec YAML. You just use like a command like this. So it is like Flutter pub add, and then we want Firebase auth, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, it's bad. Okay, yeah, great. You see, so it changed 10 dependencies. And now if I click here, you can see that one line was added. And as you can see, like the tutorial shows us like 1 point something, and we are already on 4.1. So it's like very, very different. So, and now we want a similar thing, but we want, so for Google sign in, I believe, right? Is that the way? Yeah, Google sign in. So if I do again the same thing, Flutter, pub, add, and then Google sign in. Okay, great. And as you can see, another line was added. So yeah, essentially we installed the packages. Again, there are like two ways. Either you do it through the command line, like how I showed you, or you can actually like copy the stuff like from the tutorial or whatever, and then run this Flutter packages get. So yeah, this is like another way of doing it. Sorry, just one second. Okay. Yeah, my throat definitely doesn't want to speak a lot today, so yeah. Sorry about that. I will take like short breaks just to drink some water, I guess. Uh, so yeah. Now under assets, so you will need two images while building the UI for this sample. So you can see that they just add all the images, but we don't need this tab, right? Because we have our UI already. We just want to set up the actual, like, we are interested in the actual Firebase part, right? And how Flutter and Firebase interact. So this is what we hopefully get from this tutorial. So you can see again, they just created the Firebase project. We already did that. And then, so platform configurations. If you recall, again, I think we did it. So you can, again, when you use a Flutter, yeah, when you use like, again, to link the Firebase and Flutter together, here are like different platform, different, I guess, variations, right? So if you are working on iOS app, you use this set of instructions. Here they're showing you setup for Android and stuff like that. So we just, again, we just kept all of that. iOS setup, we are not interested in that. So web setup, also no. The only thing, I guess, let's just double check that if I go to project overview and I don't see the screen. I guess, how can I go see all projects here? Okay, it's weird. I guess, yeah, we probably set up this web app. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, but I actually want to see this screen with where you can see all of the configurations. Yeah, but now I cannot find it. So, okay, let me. How do I do that? If you know, yeah, please help me. See all projects, I guess, if I click here. Okay, that's weird. Maybe add an app. Oh, okay. If I click add app, you can see that there is also Flutter stuff. Prepare your workspace. So I guess we are already logged in. Let's just go through these instructions as well. Again, just to repeat, I went to the main page of our project, and then here you can see adapt, and here's the set of instructions for Flutter, right? And the easiest way to get started is to use Flutter Fire CLI. I think, yeah, we already have that installed, but let's just make sure that we are like logged in and stuff like that, so everything works, I guess. So if I do Firebase login, you can see that we are already logged in as GDC Conestoga, and then install Flutter SDK. I think it's done. And then create a Flutter. We have the project from any directory around this command. Okay, I hope. I think we did run those commands, but just to be safe, let's run them again. And I hope they don't break anything if they are run the second time. So. Okay, just this. Okay, cool. Yeah, as you can see, they want us to do this as well. And you can see that activated that stuff, and warning, pub installs executables 10, which is not run on your path. You can fix that by adding this to your shell's config file. So yeah, just they say, please like run this line essentially. And then in here, let's run this configuration as well. Do this. Yeah, I think already do that. Okay, hopefully it's okay. Firebase configuration file generated successful. Okay, it generates this Firebase options Dart, and where is that? It's under lib, and yeah, this one. So I guess it just regenerated it. So it's okay, I guess. Yeah, let's. So this automatically registers your per platform apps with Firebase and adds on this file to your Flutter project. And then if I go here, okay, to initialize Firebase, call Firebase initialize app from the Firebase core package with a configuration from your Firebase options Dart. So I hope. Okay, now we need to figure out where to run this. So to initialize Firebase, call Firebase initialize app from the Firebase core package with the configuration from your Firebase options start file. Does anyone know where I should put that? This is, I guess, a good question. It might be that it's let me look at the other project that I worked on. I think I initialize app. Okay, I see. So essentially, okay. So you run this code in the file where you want to just a second and just yeah, I think it's in main.dart. Yeah. Okay. So if I go here and I go to our main.dart again, just to remind everyone, like this is a file where the execution of the program starts, and this is like the main method, right? And I see again, just looking at the at my previous project here, we just I ran that Firebase initialize command in the main method. So now it can only be just a single line. So if, yeah, paste this line here, and I hope that imports will work. So yeah, you can see I import from Firebase core, and this one is from Firebase options. Cool. And you can see it's great. So cool. Let's just quickly, I guess, do commit. So set up Firebase. If I commit here again, and let's just see what these ones are. Okay, yeah, we don't want to commit those. Okay. So then, again, we added the Firebase. So essentially, it just initializes it in our app, and then, cool. I guess we can set up the authentication itself now on the Firebase side. So if you look here, set up authentication in order to sign in. Enable Google under provider. Cool. So okay, let's probably read it. So in order to use Google Sign In with Firebase Authentication, you have to enable it by going to the authentication page from the left menu of the Firebase dashboard and select on the Sign In Method tab. Here, enable Google under Provider, enter the project name and support email, and click on Save. Make sure you also add the support email, Firebase project settings, general. Okay. So if we go to Firebase, let's start with this, I guess. So if I close this and then Firebase project settings, general, support email, let's put ours. And then if we go, and now the second step is our authentication. Ouch. Authentication and set up sign in. I click Google, we enable it. Okay, project public facing name. So this will be the name presented to users when they are shown any public instances of your project. For example, this will be the name displayed on emails that your users receive after creating an account with your app. So probably you should like call it whatever our app is. So GDC referral tracker, and we'll click save. Hopefully it works. Cool. Then again, if you need like any explanations, just feel free again to drop the question in the chat. So there is no extra configuration required to use Google Sign In on an Android device, but to use it on an iOS device, you have to do just one more thing. Again, we are not using iOS, so we just ignore that part. So initialize Firebase. So just looking at the tutorial, they like created this authentication class, and as far as I understood, they just like did all of they created methods like, again, sign in with Google, initialize Firebase, and yeah, again, stuff like that, essentially. So like sign out, right? And they put all of these methods in the authentication class. So it's kind of being, organized it this way. And yeah, I think we should follow the same structure as well. So initialize Firebase. As we have configured the project for using Google Sign-In with Firebase authentication, we can start defining methods for the authentication logic. Create a new file called authentication dart and say the lib utils to use any other Firebase service. We have to first initialize the Firebase app. So yeah, let's just follow that example. So we will create a directory called utils, just utilities, right? And then here we create a file called authentication, right? Authentication.dart, and I add it here. And yeah, and as you can see here, so it's a static method that initializes a Firebase, and it just to do add auto login logic. Okay, I guess we will not have auto logins, probably. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. Maybe it's actually a good idea to do that afterwards, right? Because we don't want to force users to log in all the time. So, okay, I know it's kind of, I'm cheating right now by copying and pasting the code. Probably you shouldn't do that, but yeah, essentially, like what it does, it again, it returns a promise. So I don't know how. Again, there are like very few people here, but like how many of you are familiar with the concept of promise in JavaScript? So promise. Just to like, okay, I am assuming not none maybe. So essentially, it just says like it's part of the asynchronous programming. It's like it will take me at least like 15 minutes to explain it properly, but I guess like I suggest you watch like again the concept of promise and like general asynchronous programming. You can again you can research it in JavaScript, and then it is exactly the same in Dart, right? So you have like future, it's like your promise. In JavaScript, it will be promise, and it's like an instance of Firebase app. But yeah, essentially, as you can see, like you return like those futures, right? Whenever you return something that needs to be like that needs to be asynchronous and stuff like that. So yeah, as you can see, we await for that, and I guess okay, yeah, it's definitely. I just if you're not familiar with the concept, just please like do like a side research. I guess it will be easier for everyone, I guess. So yeah, but for now, I'll just again refer solely to this. Um, Okay, so now implement Google Sign In. Now let's add, okay, in the above code, we initialized Firebase inside the initialize Firebase method. Later, we'll add the logic for auto login here. Implement Google Sign In. Now let's add the method for Google Sign In. So we have, again, kind of the same stuff. So we have sign in with Google, and we just need to provide the app context here. And you can see we have Firebase OAuth. So again, usually, like whenever you work with Firebase OAuth or you work with Firebase Store and stuff like that, you would again use an instances of those, right? And as you can see here, we have Firebase OAuth, and a variable called auth gets created, and somewhere here, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can see here, like user credential, auth sign in with a credential, right? So auth essentially is an object. Auth is essentially, in simple words, is a variable that helps us handle all of the login stuff, right? So if I again, cheating, but I guess I hope you'll forgive me. But yeah, essentially, I'm just doing this because for the sake of saving time. But again, usually it's not the best idea to copy and paste the others' code, but yeah, again, we can refactor it. So again, user is imported from the Firebase OAuth package, right? And then we need to import all the other stuff. This one is imported from Google Sign-In package that we, again, imported before. And yeah, as you can see here, let's just briefly like go over it. Okay, and build context as well. And this one comes, we need from material, okay? So yeah, okay, so we have Firebase Auth, we have the user instance, and here we have Google Sign-In. Again, so probably, I'm assuming, some other helper for us. And then here we have Google Sign-In account. So Google Sign-In, sign in. Okay, if it's not now, then Google Sign-In authentication, and then awaits authentication credential. Okay, essentially, like the way I understand this code is like this method. Again, it just initializes a bunch of helpers. Again, I will try to use the simplest vocabulary possible. It just, again, it initializes here, again, a bunch of helpers, Google helpers, I guess, right? Sign-in helpers, right? That essentially ask the user to like enter their, again, log in with their Google email and stuff like that. And you can see here, it just does a bunch of like stuff with the tokens. I don't think it's really important for us to understand it right now. And then here, you can see that we use our auth, like the actual auth, Firebase authentication, and we do sign in with credential, right? So we essentially got the credentials from Google, and now we are trying to sign in into our app, right? So this is what these two lines do. And then here, after you sign in, right? So again, like Google gives us a piece of information about the user, right? So for instance, in here we fetch it, right? So we say user, so we declared this variable here on top, and we say user is user credential user. So essentially we are fetching all of the user data from Google's account that they used, right? I guess whatever like Google permits us. Obviously, right? So in here, I'm not entirely sure what this user like holds. We probably will need like to debug it and see like what happens. But again, we don't use this method yet, so we should probably. So we will debug afterwards. Again, let's just follow the tutorial, I guess. Okay, so and here they just here we can handle the error more elegantly by showing snack bar. You may have noticed that's why we have passed the build context to this method. So the try catch block can be modified to this. So essentially here, they're just saying that again, if something goes wrong with the authentication, right? We want to handle it gracefully and show the user like the reason what happens, so you see here, like account exists with different credential. And then they just, I assume, yeah, okay, they show a snack bar. So snack bar is essentially like an alert, kind of. And it says the account already exists with a different credential. And again, invalid credential, error occurred while accessing credentials. And then the other, just all the other errors, error occurred using Google Sign In, try again. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure why we need this. Being completely honest, we can just simplify it just to use this catch block. So yeah, let's probably just, again, to simplify our code, I don't think we need all of this here. So yeah, I'll just do this and across async gaps. Extend stateful widget, manages snack bars and material banners. Okay. Does anyone know what the issue can be here? Custom bar isn't defined for the authentication. Okay. Probably, again, since the tutorial is very old, I'm assuming is that it just this is done the other way around. So I guess for us, let's just put this code here as a comment, and to do, use a snack bar or alert for okay, in case to show the user, show the error to a user. So again, since this is the catch block, it means something like went wrong, and we just again want to display the error to the user. Okay, let's move on. So the custom snack bar method looks like this. Okay, so that they just created a new method. So probably we don't need. Okay, so if I just do this snack bar, copy this piece. Yep, and probably we can fix it right away. So yeah, okay. So this method was custom. So if I do this, and now we just want to do a few things. So our content will be this instead. Yeah. And I guess it should be fine. Maybe. Prefer const. Okay, it just says that wants a constant here. Okay, it's better. Okay, I guess it kind of it is kind of fixed. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this wording, but I guess let's keep it for now. So again, essentially what it does, it shows a snack bar, right? Whenever an error occurs. So error occurred using Google Sign In, try again, and then yeah, it just forms it. Okay, so going further, so the sign in with Google method that we have defined will have to authenticate user with Google Sign In on the Android and iOS platforms. But in order to use Google Sign In on the web, we have to modify the following. Okay. Okay, so all what we did is just it's just for mobile, which is very okay. Let's see. Okay. So if we look at this code here, you can see that they just, again, do the same stuff. And so if it is a web, if it is web, so just foundation. Okay, then we say that Google Auth provider, Google Auth provider. Okay, so this is the code for the web essentially, and all the other stuff is for the mobile, right? And we implemented this, and we actually don't need this. So what I will do, I guess, is just copy these lines and go here. And I guess we don't need any of this. Or okay, so okay, this way our code becomes way simpler. I think, right? So let's see. But something is broken. Now, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it just has too many brackets or something. Expected to find parentheses. Okay, so this one is here. This one is here. Does anyone see what the problem could be here? Const snack bar. Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, maybe I just need this quote or not quote. Guess snack bar. You just have. Okay, yeah, it just was the problem with parentheses and stuff like that. So okay, hopefully that's fine now. Cool. Okay. So on the web platform, you have to use sign in with pop-up method on the Firebase auth instance. So sign in with pop-up. Okay. Okay, let's try. This will be the moment of truth. So we have 7 minutes, and this is probably where we will stop. So we will not do the sign out. Again, I'm not entirely sure how helpful it will be, how it will work right now, but I hope it will work. So, okay, so the login screen ID is our initial one, right? So again, what we did right now, we kind of did all the preparation work. So we created like those helper methods, and so sign in with Google, right? This is our method, and I'm actually not entirely sure if we need this method for now. So we'll just since we initialize our app in the main method here, right? We don't need this in authentication, I believe, for now at least. So if what we just need to do right now, again, if I launch the app, and we wait for a few minutes, I guess, or just for a few seconds, hopefully. Okay. Okay. So this is the app we have right now. And when I click on this button, nothing happens, right? And what we want to happen is actually we want to call this authentication sign in with Google method, right? So what I need to do for that, I go to login screen. I try to find, so I found this button, right? So you can see this is our text button. So let me actually minimize everything, so it's like easier for us. So again, I go here, then it's in the body. There's a container. It has a child. Then there are a bunch of boxes. Yeah, here, somewhere here. Yeah, the level of nesting is crazy. So probably we will definitely need to try maybe to refactor all of that. But essentially what you can see here, that we have this onPressed method, right? And this is so whenever we click on this login with Google button, this is what we have. So you can see here, so let's do this. So I want, okay, let me probably do a little bit the other way around, I guess. So whenever we click on this login with Google button, we want to do authentication, right? So this is the class that we created, and I want to call this this on sign in with Google method. And what it returns an instance of a user, right? So again, and this instance of a user gives us all the information about the user, right? So like its name, its email, and stuff like that. So let's just fetch it here. So so I do user, and okay. If I go here, and also you can see here that it's sync, right? So I need it's probably, yeah, you can see here that it's complaining. So whenever we need to await it because the method is async. And just a few fixes here. Okay, let's do a nullable one. Okay, so just again, for some context, you can see that here, user question mark. So what is the difference between user and user question mark? So user question mark is a nullable user. So essentially, it can be either null or a user object are both like valid um, things that this variable can hold. But if I just remove this, you can see that it complains about type and compatibility, right? It says that a value type of user can be assigned to a variable of type user. So yeah, it just there was just a small fix. And okay, almost done, I promise. Just 1 minute, and then we are good. We are, I guess, done for today. I want. Let's see what we want. Let's can we law. I want to. Let's actually try to scaffold a snack bar and see if we can get um, the user information. But here we will just put so like the user, and you can see we can get like email verified display name. Let's try display name. And it says that evaluation of this um, throws an exception. A value null can be assigned to a variable widget and a const. Okay. Uh, okay. I guess it's just saying that the user might be null. So let's just do this. If the user is not null, then we do this. And it still complains about it. So show context. Don't recall how we can merge. Okay, let me try to. Okay, I forgot how to merge strings in Dart. It's okay. Let's just let's try the last, I guess, piece. Okay, I will. What if I remove this? It still says that it can be null. Okay, since it's already 6, I don't want put these two this thing. So essentially, like in case the user is the user display name is null, just display no username. But yeah, let's see how if it works at all or anything happens. I guess yeah. Okay. Just I guess the moment of truth. I don't expect it to work because again, it's just the first try. Okay. Um, cool. Um, I received one submission for the feedback. Still 2 to go. I guess yeah. In the meantime, let's just see what is here. So if I click login with Google, oh, you see it works. Something works. I'm very happy. Okay, and now I just need to. Yeah, what is our email? Let me use the DC Conestoga one. Okay, it's unfortunate that it doesn't like populate it for now. Probably just because it's kind of in incognito window or something like this. Conestoga at gmail.com. And I don't know the password. Okay, I need to check the password, I guess. But yeah, let me just quickly um, open that. So if I go here, okay, the password is very complicated, but okay, I guess I'll just okay, cool. Next. It works. Oh, crazy! It works. Oh, okay. So what I did right now is oh no. Okay, if I please don't ask me to. Yeah, you can see here. I entered the password and you can see I received the snack bar, and it displays our username Conestoga DC. Okay, so we accomplished our goal. I guess let's give us a round of applause. I'm very happy it turned out to be successful. I guess. Yeah. Still only one response. Can you so Christopher and I guess and are can you just let me know if you're filling the survey out, and I guess we can just spin the wheel. Yeah, or you're just gone. I don't know. Um, okay. Maybe the final thing, I guess, before I do that, let's just commit it. So set up, I don't know, allow authenticating with Google. Okay, cool. Obviously, like the functionality that we want, like in the final app, is not here at all. Um, it just again, we just have this sign in with Google. So what it does right now, it just authenticates the user in the system with the help of Google, and then but again, we don't do anything afterwards, right? We probably again there are a lot of different things that we can do, right? We want to check if the user has is a member or not yet, and we want to see we want to add sign out functionality, and we want to redirect to other um, screens as you know as you log in, right? So probably when you log in, you want to redirect to another screen rather than just showing the snack bar. So yeah, okay, um, okay, still one response, but anyways, I will spin the wheel maybe with those names, but yeah, cool. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Um, cool. Okay,